A lot of what I wanted to focus on is tradition and rituals. So a big part of my culture for me is putting on jewelry and kind of getting dressed up. So I wanted to, my mom graciously accepted my demand for her to be photographed by me. So I had her put on some different jewelry and different items just to show how important these traditions are for me to preserve the culture, but also how I remember the culture. Like, these are some of my favorite parts of being South Asian. So I took this photo in my basement with a backdrop and a digital camera. I used a long exposure setting to kind of get like a blurred effect on it, kind of showing how I want to remember these moments not only because they are important to me, but because they function as like cultural memory. And remembering these moments is really how the culture lives on. And then I experimented a little taking some black and white photographs. I knew early on that I wanted to focus on South Asian objects, so I took a few photographs of textile shops and a mosque, which is also important to religion and things like that. But then I realized I really don't enjoy taking black and white photographs as much as I love taking color photographs. I just think color is such a big part of my culture. Everything that I feel when I think about being South Asian is very vivid. And so I realized early on that while these were sort of images that were adjacent to what my sustained investigation was about, I wanted to focus on color. And then I experimented with taking some pictures of non-South Asian people. So I wanted to see how textiles and different fabrics worked on a fairer skin tone, and kind of what that symbolized. So this is B. She was a great model. So I draped some of my fabrics on her, and I liked the way the colors showed on her skin as well. And all of these images just sort of culminated into my final works. These are all hanging in the Messer Gallery. And I really like the vivid reds and colors of these. Along with my photos in the gallery, there's a short description of what my sustained investigation topic is. My sustained investigation explores how clothing functions visually and also as a lived expression of cultural identity. By focusing on fabric, textile, and surface texture, I use garments as symbols of inheritance. Objects that are worn, styled, repeated, and preserved across generations. The saturated reds in these images reflect the intensity and richness of South Asian culture as I experience it, vivid, layered, and impossible to separate from color. By examining folds of fabric, embroidery, jewelry, and draped silhouettes, I examine clothing as a decoration, but also as a carrier of ritual and memory. In contrast, the image featuring a white figure in South Asian dress is rendered more softly and with a different color palette, emphasizing the difference between simply wearing cultural aesthetics and actually understanding the meaning behind them. Through this contrast, I examine how traditional clothing can signify preservation and disconnection, depending on who wears it and what histories they carry. Across this investigation, I aim to use clothing as a way to explore how culture is preserved, how identity is performed, and how tradition remains alive. Thank you.